everybody, I am finally back for a brand new video. I do apologize for the long wait it's been since I last put out a video. It's actually getting close to 2 full months now, so on average it's been about a good month and about maybe 2 to 3 weeks, okay? Somewhere around there, okay? But yes, it has been a while since I last put out a video. I do apologize. So really the main reason was something to do with this video itself, okay? So at first, this video actually started off as an idea that I was sort of doing for like a Mario and Luigi game with Peach and Daisy as also playable characters, right? You know, the Mario and Luigi series like that? Like the previous one that was just released about a couple years ago and stuff like that was Brothership, okay? So I thought it would be very interesting and stuff like that if there could be another game, you know, Mario and Luigi with Peach and Daisy as playable characters as well, okay? And the idea of that video itself was sort of centered on in Sarasaland, okay? Like, if there was ever a time where we can go back to Sarasaland, what would be some games that we could see it in, okay? And I basically labeled it down to either maybe like Luigi's Mansion or Mario and Luigi, the Mario and Luigi series, I feel like would be the best options here, okay? But that aside, my intentions of it was basically going over some basic ideas of it, but then I thought to myself, okay, if I'm going to really expand the world of Sarasaland like that, like really update it and try and sort of give an imagination of what we could actually expect from it into a whole new world, okay? Basically just sort of like because it's been so long since we've seen Sarasaland itself, and we never really gotten any like official like hardcore updates over the years or like that. I mean, there's some references and some minor elements like that, but a full-on scale of Sarasaland back in our modern time of what we see nowadays, especially if you look at like the Mushroom Kingdom, for example, okay? You know, the Mushroom Kingdom, when we first noticed it or first see it from the original NES games compared to what we're getting now in these games, it's vastly different, okay? And I would like to expect something very similar here with Sarasaland as well. So that's sort of the core concept of what I was basically figuring out. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, if I'm going to go over these 4 kingdoms, it might be better if I label the 4 kingdoms as their own video and sort of go over some generic ideas into those kingdoms themselves. And then maybe that would be that would sort of like give a good idea here, okay? So the whole premise of this video is like that is going over the 4 kingdoms of Sarasaland and sort of giving an idea of like what we could expect from them in terms of a new update, okay? Like what can we expect in terms of designs? What can we expect in like new locations, like other building structures and all that kind of stuff, okay? Now, keep in mind here, what I'm going to suggest is some ideas that I've written down like that, but at the same time, they're not going to be detailed exactly, okay? Because I still want the imagination to be left up to you guys, okay? So if I mention like a building itself, I'm going to leave that up to your guys' imagination of what it will actually like lay out, okay? Like how it could be designed, like how you think it could appear in your mind and everything. I will sort of give an idea of the inspiration of it and why I basically chose it itself, but at the same time, it will be left up to your guys' imagination to basically determine how you think it would actually appear, okay? Now, that's just my basically understanding of it, okay? Now, there are going to be some things that I'm going to basically add as my own generic idea and everything in terms of like a design-wise, but I'm going to still be left up to the imagination of how you would expect it to actually appear on the inside for a more determined aspect of it, okay? Okay. So each of the 4 kingdoms of Sarasaland, Birabuto, which is also known as the Pyrapt Kingdom, I will probably go back and forth on that. The second one will be Muda Kingdom. The third one will be the Eastern Kingdom, and then the fourth one will be the Chai Kingdom, okay? So I will go over these kingdoms respectively and sort of give an idea of what you could expect from them, okay? All right. So that was one of the main reasons was really going over and getting this idea itself and writing down every possible idea and sort of giving an idea of it, okay? The other main reason on why I haven't really been putting out a video itself was that I was sort of getting caught up on watching a lot of TV, okay? So I was sort of on like a TV kind of situation here where I just wanted to watch TV and watch a lot of stuff that I haven't watched for a while, okay? And some of the stuff I was just really getting into it that I just wanted to keep watching it over and over again, it's like that. I'm really those kind of people, okay? I'm the kind of person who does not mind watching something over and over again, all right? The same thing with music, okay? If there's a music I like, I will literally listen to it over and over and over and over again. I know some people get annoyed by that, okay? Like a good example of this, okay, so in Sonic Heroes, okay, on the PlayStation 2, well, I had mine on the PlayStation 2, okay? When you unlock the Metal Overlord song and everything, that plays on a constant loop, okay? That always played on a constant loop. I'm not sure that was the same on every console version, like, you know, Nintendo and all that kind of stuff, but for the Nintendo Switch 2 no, sorry, wrong console, PlayStation 2, okay? On the PlayStation 2, which I had mine on that, the Metal Overlord song played constant, okay? So I actually had that on for the entire time, and I listened to that song for practically half the entire day, okay? Like, literally the entire day, I was just listening to that same song, okay? Hold on a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I had to step away for just a minute, okay? All right, so here's one idea that I will sort of get into this video itself, okay? All right, so my basic idea is sort of theorizing and sort of predicting, okay, well, if I'm going to update Sarasaland and sort of give an idea of what we can expect from us like that at how could we expect for it to be updated, okay? And I feel like the good example to look at is the original game itself, okay? So remember, right? Sarasaland has 4 kingdoms, okay? But each of the 4 kingdoms have has 3 levels within those kingdoms, okay? So Birabuto Kingdom had 3 levels, Muda had 3 levels, the Eastern had 3 levels, Chai Kingdom had 3 levels. So there were 3 levels, okay? And that was sort of the idea that I thought I could use as inspiration here, is by looking at those 3 levels and then sort of structuring those as domains or areas within those kingdoms, okay? So Birabuto will basically have 3 main areas, okay? 3 domain structures within one kingdom itself, okay? That's sort of the idea here, okay? And I feel like that was the easiest thing to look at in terms of an idea or inspiration to get into this whole update, okay? Sorry. I know I'm sort of repeating myself on certain things like that. I do apologize, but let's get into the video itself, okay? So, thank you so much for joining me, and let's go back to Sarasaland, okay? It has been a long, long time since we've been to Sarasaland, all right? I mean, we've gotten references, right? We've gotten cameos from people in Sarasaland, but no, all right, no. We want to go back to Sarasaland. It is time to go back to Sarasaland. Return. Okay. So, Sarasaland's Birabuto Kingdom, or Pyrapt Kingdom, okay? As you all know, is basically a hot sand-themed desert, okay? That is basically what it is. That is ruled by Princess Daisy, okay? Alright. Now, the Pyrapt Kingdom has 3 separate main regions within its domain, which I basically mentioned as sort of the idea here, okay? So, the first part of the kingdom's region is a massive sand dunes filled area that is split between 2 areas that is separated by a long river, okay? And you might wait on this river just a little bit. You'll understand the reference what I'm going to do here, okay? Alright. So, one part of the sand desert itself is called the East Sand, okay? It is located on the east side of the kingdom's region. It is considered the safest route to take compared to the west side, which is separated by the Crocodile River, okay? I'm sure you guys will get the reference. And keep in mind, that's not Crocodile River, that's Crocodile River. Not crocodile, Crocodile. Nile, okay? Nile. Got it? Okay. The Crocodile River is a long river that's, sorry, let me say that again. The Crocodile River is a long river that sits between both the East Sand and the West Sand deserts area. The river leads into the kingdom's second major region, okay? The Crocodile River comes from combining the words or the names of the Nile River along with crocodile, okay? And there is actually a crocodile river, okay? Matter of fact, there's actually about 2 or 3 crocodile rivers within South Africa, okay? So the idea here is sort of removing the dial from crocodile and replacing it with Nile to make Crocodile River, okay? And I'll get back into the Crocodile River here very shortly, okay? Alright, but I want to keep on going with what I basically written down, okay? Alright. Next, we have the West Sand, okay? The West Sand Desert is a sand desert just opposite of the East Sand Desert, which is separated by the Crocodile River. The entire area is considered highly dangerous to travel through unless you have a map or a personal trained guide with experience, okay? The West Sand Desert is known for having the strongest enemies that reside in the sand-filled areas. It also has a lot of massive quicksand pits that make it difficult and hard to travel without a personal trained guide, okay? So that is sort of the idea here, is that the West Sand Desert, because it has a lot of large, massive quicksand pits and a lot of dangerous enemies itself, it makes it very hard to travel through without a special map to let you know which way you need to go, or a trained guide that is trained and highly efficient in going through those areas without leading into danger, okay? So basically the first part of the kingdom itself is a large, massive sand area, okay? That's the first part of the area's domain, is the massive sand area, okay? And it is split, okay? So there is a west sand side and an east sand side, okay? All right. Now we are moving on to the second part, okay? The second part of this kingdom's region is a large oasis area that is let me say that again, okay? The second part of the kingdom's region is a large oasis area with very tall platform palm trees that creates a massive forest, okay? So if you remember in the game itself, Super Mario Land, when you're traveling through the Birabuto Kingdoms like that, you do travel through on top of giant palm trees, okay? And this is sort of the idea here, is that, okay, well, I can turn this area into like a giant oasis area with palm tree forests around, okay? And this is also where, the main area, basically Daisy's palace would basically be in here, as I feel like this would be the best place to represent it, okay? Okay. The second area is where the town is located, which includes places like a bazaar, obviously Shy Guy Bazaar, houses, and the central palace owned by Daisy, along with her very own personal garden. Okay, I feel like it would be very important here for Daisy, someone who has very good connections, affinities, flowers, to have a garden itself. Okay. Behind the palace is the entrance into the third area of this kingdom. However, the entrance is absolutely forbidden to use unless you have a special item that helps you out. The entrance is forbidden because the path causes never-ending mirages with no escape, okay? Because we're in a desert theme area, you feel like it would be a good idea to have some ideas to use a mirage, okay? And I sort of have like this good idea of what we can expect from it, as in there is a secret way out, okay? Let's get into that. Alright. However, even though this way is forbidden to use, there is a secret way, and this secret way is how Mario got into the third area of the Pyrapt Kingdom, okay? When Mario first came to this kingdom, Mario had to use the secret path to get to the kingdom's third regional area. By using the giant palm trees like platforms, Mario was able to get access into the third area, okay? So, using the normal path itself into the third kingdom is highly forbidden, and unless you have a special item that will allow you to travel through it. However, if you don't have this item, then there's no way for you to basically get in there without getting into a never-ending mirage trap that is almost impossible to escape through, okay? So there is a secret way that actually allows someone to basically traverse and travel on top of the giant palm trees, which are basically like platform areas. Somebody can use these, get across, and actually jump over and get into the third region by skipping the entire mirage area itself, right? You can literally skip over that entire area by using the giant palm trees themselves to escape it, okay? Alright, so that's basically that. Now let's get into the third area, okay? The third and final area of this kingdom's region is completely covered in tons of large mud cracks, okay? Years ago, this region also had its own sand-filled area until one day all the sand had vanished. With all the sand lost, it was given the name Lost Sand, okay? It is the name given to this third area. Within this region area, there are three giant structures like buildings. To the far right, there is the Uba Temple. There is the Uba Temple that features four giant statues of Daisy, Luigi, Peach, and Mario. Next to the far left is a set of towers, or is from small to tall, that resemble obelisk towers, okay? Now, straight to the far north is the three pyramid tombs of King Totemesu, which can only be accessed by crossing the Valley of King Totemesu. This is the place where Mario originally fought against King Totemesu. The entire pyramid's design is identical to the Triforce from Zelda, okay? To open the top pyramid, you must unlock the switches in the two bottom pyramids, okay? Now, there's more here because I have some ideas that we can lead into, okay? So you know how in the Moody Kingdom and the Chai Kingdom, how there was the marine pop and the sky pop that allow you to go through underwater and fly in the air? Well, I thought it would be very interesting here. Birabuto Kingdom and Eastern Kingdom had their vehicles too, okay? And for the Birabuto Kingdom, I chose Dig Pop, all right? Basically, something that will allow Mario to basically dig, okay? Right, a digging vehicle. And that's why I thought it would be very interesting to introduce the underground world, okay? The underground world, which is first accessed by using the dig pop, okay? Obviously that. The underground world is a hidden town lost to the upside world. The entire civilization has become buried beneath the sand that used to reside in the kingdom's third area, okay? So basically, this entire underground world is within the third area's domain, okay? So by using it, when you're traveling into this area, you use the dig pop to travel down there first and everything, and then you discover that all the sand that used to be above fell down into the core of the earth, okay? Into this other region, okay? Now, obviously, that's not exactly how mud cracks work, okay? So before anyone actually gets into the video itself and actually starts, you do realize that's not how mud cracks actually are formed and designed. Like, you do get that sand falling down into the bottom cracks of the earth is not how mud cracks work. Yes, I know that's not how mud cracks work, okay? I'm just sort of using the idea of mud cracks as a cinematic design or inspiration for this kingdom's region to give it a sort of a narrative here, okay? But yes, I do know full well that that's not how mud cracks work, okay? Look, I'm not a completely scientific expert to give my exactly 101 100% idea, but yes, I am very well aware that that's not how mud cracks are formed, okay? So please understand that. Alright. The Dig Pop is a special vehicle used only in the Birabuto Kingdom that allows the driver to dig through the grounds of the Pyrapt Kingdom, okay? Which, obviously, very important here, okay? Now, let's go over this, okay? So I do feel like it would be very important here if we stick to the kingdoms themselves, right? If we stick to the kingdom citizens, the Pyrapt Kingdom citizens from the Super Mario Land would be a very good idea. However, I feel like there are a few good extras that I think we could actually add here as well. So, you know, with Mario Kart World that basically had Shy Guy Bazaar connected to Sarasaland Land, I feel like it would be a very good idea here, okay? I really do think that Shy Guys are perfect to represent Sarasaland, okay? I know there's sort of those enemies that you can find in any game. You can find them in Yoshi's game, you can find them tag teaming with Bowser, you can find them tag teaming with anybody, okay? But I do think that Shy Guys do have that kind of inspirational design to be connected to Daisy, okay? And I feel like this would be the best option for this, okay? So I do think Shy Guys actually work for that, okay? So keep in mind here, all the original Super Mario Land enemies that are tied to the Birabuto Kingdom, I think could be good to return as well, with some extra faces that I think could work as well, okay? So obviously, characters that I think could actually come into the Birabuto Kingdom that I think make a lot of sense are some characters from Super Mario Bros. 2. Specifically, we have the 3 Shy Guy variants, Shy Guys, the Snippets, and Bezos, okay? I think these could all work as well. Panzers, I think, could really work as well to be representing this kingdom itself. Phantos, basically those mask things from Super Mario Bros. 3, I think actually no, it's Super Mario Bros. 2. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2, okay? I don't know why I was thinking, sorry, the sun is in Super Mario Bros. 3, okay? I was getting confused because both in Super Mario Bros. 3, there was that sun that chases you around, and then Super Mario Bros. 2, there's the Phantom mask that chases you when you take the key, okay? I was getting confused there for a minute, okay? Pidgeot, which is basically that tiny bird that rides on the magic carpet. I think that could really work as well. Cobrats, I think Cobrats could actually work here. Obviously, Pokies could be a good idea to have in this kingdom as well. Pokies you can find in any kind of desert theme kingdom, but it also would be very interesting if they could actually appear here too. And also some ideas I thought could be reintroducing some old characters with updated designs. So say for instance we introduce Patagao, okay? So Patagao is basically just a Gao character with wings themselves, okay? So introducing a flying variant of the Gao statue, okay? And that's actually one idea I thought with King Totemesu here, is that I feel like King Totemesu would actually deserve a highly updated design, okay? So imagine if we introduce King Totemesu, but this time he actually has wings, okay? But that's just an idea here, okay? That's just an idea. And new character themselves, Gators, which is basically just a crocodile formed enemy or creature that resides in the Birabuto Kingdom itself, okay? And obviously, you have the ruler itself, Princess Daisy, okay? But when it comes to it itself, I do feel like Shy Guys would be the best ideas to represent Daisy's Sarasaland Kingdom through the Birabuto Kingdom, okay? I do feel like they were the best to represent the Birabuto Kingdom as Daisy's main subjects within this kingdom itself, okay? And I feel like I have an idea for all 4 kingdoms to have an idea of a main subject itself. Now, obviously, Gals are sort of like the way I see it, Gals are best to represent King Totemesu, okay? I feel like they are best to represent King Totemesu, even though Daisy rules over this land as her main region, as the main princess, okay? Alright. Let's get into other ideas itself, okay? So, obviously, I'm going to go over a few things that I've already mentioned before, but just to give an idea here, okay? Alright, so, obviously, locations that we can look at. The East Sand Desert, located on the east side of the kingdom's only large sand dunes area, is also highly recommended to travel through. This area is recommended to travel through this area instead, as it is the safest and easiest path to follow. Obviously, the East Sand side is in a way combining the words east plus sand, or easy and sand, okay? Because, I mean, you get it? Like, east, sand, east, sand, easy, sand. I mean, I did say that was the easiest and safest way to travel, so it's kind of a... Okay, yes, you get the picture, okay? Alright. Next is the West Sand side, okay? Just opposite of the East Sand Desert, the West Sand side is considered highly dangerous to travel through with the toughest enemies, large massive quicksand pits all around that requires a map or a guide, which I did mention, alright? Next, you have the Crocodile River. A river that lays between the West Sand and the East Sand Deserts. The river features a branching path called the White Path and the Blue Path, okay? The river takes inspiration from the Nile River, alright? One idea I was trying to think of what to call the Shy Guy village was Rokai, and this name basically comes from rearranging the words in Cairo, okay? So Cairo is the capital of Egypt itself, and since Birabuto Kingdom is inspired off of Egypt, I thought Rokai could be a good idea here, but that's just, I mean, that's sort of, I'll leave that up to your guys' perspective itself. I was just sort of naming something, but I'll leave that up to your guys' perspective if you guys think there could be a better name, okay? The Shy Guy village, a town inhabited by Shy Guys, with Daisy's Palace being in the center, okay? Next, we have the Uba Temple, alright? A temple located to the far right of the third region. It features 4 giant statues of Daisy, Luigi, Peach, and Mario. It is based off of the Abu symbol, okay? It is based off the Abu symbol, okay? So this is basically a temple structure like that you might be familiar with, okay? And I thought this could be a good idea to actually have something within sort of expanding the world's Sarasaland by introducing other building-like structures, okay? And sort of the idea here itself, with the pyramids themselves, the pyramids are basically tombs to honor the late pharaohs, all right? To honor the pharaohs of the times themselves, okay? So I thought the idea here is that, okay, I have 3 different building structures, and each of them will start with a T, okay? So you have a temple, a tomb, and obviously towers, okay? And I thought that could be a good idea here. To the far left is a set of towers with different sizes that feature rotating stones that, when rotated, allow a puzzle mechanism to activate when the pictures are matched correctly, okay? So the idea here was taking sort of the inspiration of those toy tower-like figures like that you could I'm not exactly trying to describe them. I think they're called like rotating wood blocks and everything. And when you rotate them like that, if they have a picture on them, you can rotate the pictures and sort of match the pictures up. That's sort of the inspiration here that I thought was sort of making these towers rotating, rotating cement blocks and everything that can actually allow you to rotate them by sort of like taking the mechanism that allow you to basically turn them around and actually match the pictures up, which I thought could be very interesting here for a sort of gameplay mechanic. Okay. Now, what the pictures are, I'll leave it up to your guys' imagination, okay? You guys decide what should be on those rotating blocks, okay? That's all on you guys. Valley of King Totemesu, a valley that leads to the three pyramids of King Totemesu, is inspired off of the Valley of the Kings with King Totemesu, okay? So obviously combine the Valley of the Kings with King Totemesu's name, okay? So Valley King Totemesu, okay? And obviously the three pyramids of the Birabuto Kingdom, 3 giant-sized pyramids, and it's under the rule of King Totemesu. The pyramids are inspired off the pyramids of Giza, okay? All right. So that's sort of the main concept here of the idea itself, okay? So obviously the first area is the large sand field areas itself. Obviously you have an east sand side and a west sand side. Keep in mind the west sand side is highly dangerous because of all the large massive sand pits and the highly aggressive and dangerous powerful enemies that reside in that area's region. So it is highly recommended to take the east sand path, as in it is the easiest and safest way to travel, okay? Obviously, you have the Crocodile River. Keep in mind, that's Crocodile River, not crocodile. Crocodile. Nile, people. Nile. Okay, glad we're on board. Okay, all right. Then you have the second area. Okay, the second area is a large, massive oasis area with a giant palm tree forest itself, and this is actually the area where Daisy's palace resides. Okay, this is where the Shy Guy town is and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Then, once we get past that, we are into the third area. The third area is a giant mud crack domain area itself. This entire region is entirely filled with mud cracks. All the sand has vanished because it fell into the ground itself, okay? Yes, all right? Don't question my logic, people. Do not question my logic, okay? This is my idea, my inspiration. I'm going with it, okay? If you think you can provide something better, feel free to do it, okay? But yes, I do know that's not how mud cracks are formed, okay? Just let me have this, people. Let me have this! Let me have it! Okay, glad we're on board. All right. Then obviously we need to sort of give an idea of like other locations and places that we can expect, okay? And I did choose to have a temple, a tomb, and a tower, all right? The Abu symbol would be a very good idea here for inspiration by having the Uba temple, okay? Which is sort of taking the idea of taking the word temple and combining that with the Abu symbol itself by rearranging the letters themselves, all right? So rearranging letters, but at the same time also combining it with the word temple itself, okay? That's sort of the idea here, okay? And also you have the Valley of King Totemesu, which is obviously inspired off the Valley Kings things, which will help lead into the pyramid itself, okay? And obviously the pyramids themselves, obviously inspired off the pyramids of Giza, which is where you fought King Totemesu before, okay? And then obviously the towers, which will also be inspired off of obelisk towers that you can actually find within Egypt itself, okay? And matter of fact, some of these towers you might have actually seen playing in Mario Kart World as sort of an idea of inspiration here, okay? So really the idea of it, when you think about it, is that I really had to think about the 3 kingdoms, okay? These 3 main areas within this kingdom itself and how it could be evolved. Like, how can we expect for it to be updated? What can we expect to see, okay? How this area should play out, okay? How should this area appear, okay? How should this area appear, okay? And really when it came to the 3rd kingdom, that was a little bit difficult itself, because when you look at the first area and the second area, you kind of get an idea here, okay? So the first area, you're also traveling through a desert, okay? Then the sand desert, okay? Then the second area, okay, well, you're traveling through giant palm trees, okay? Maybe this could be an oasis area. But then the third area, because in that game, you're actually already in the pyramid itself. So it's like, okay, but I feel like I still gotta give an idea here of this area itself. Like, what can I do? And I really want it to be unique. I really want it to be clever. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe I can go with a different type of desert, okay? Like, deserts don't always have to be sands itself, right? A desert basically refers to a wasteland area that doesn't get much vegetation and like that, you know, plants, growth, and all that kind of stuff, okay? Even wintered, snowy region areas are called deserts, okay? Those are called cold deserts, okay? With sand-filled areas being known as hot deserts, okay? So I thought, okay, well, wait a minute, hold on. This entire area could be a mud crack region, okay? Entirely mud cracks, okay? Mud cracks. I thought maybe that could be a good idea, okay? Yeah. The first part of the kingdom has sand everywhere. The second part, an oasis-filled areas like that with giant palm trees all around, okay? And then the third area, an entire region filled with mud cracks all around. Mud cracks there, mud cracks there, mud cracks over there, mud cracks over there, mud cracks down there, mud cracks everywhere, right? Hey, you. Sit down. Nobody wants to see that crack, okay? No, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Oh, what a sicko. Okay. But that's basically the idea here, okay? Now keep in mind, I'm going to leave the imagination up to you guys on how the buildings would actually appear and what they could actually expect to look like in terms of design, okay? I'm just sort of giving the main idea of the locations themselves, and I really thought these like this could work because I really wanted to have something that I think could be unique. I really wanted to try and use a place that I feel like could use the best representation here, okay? And I chose these places because I felt like they had like the best option to choose from, and I feel like they were sort of like the best ideas to look at when using something to give in a big idea of inspiration, okay? Alright. So that will do it for this video itself. That's all I have to acknowledge here on this and everything. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. My name is 4D Clif. I do apologize for the long wait it's been since I last put out a video. I do apologize for that. I'm not exactly sure when exactly I'll get the Muda Kingdom video out. I'll start on it as soon as I can and everything, but I do apologize. And I'm going to try and get back into making other videos as soon as possible, okay? So this will be the first part to this video itself. So thank you so much for joining me. My name is 4D Clif. And I am so happy that you guys actually enjoyed this video, okay? So if you enjoy it, please let me know by smashing the like button, alright? Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my content and everything. Feel free to like the video, leave a comment down below, all that kind of stuff, okay? So thank you. You all have a great day. Goodbye, everybody!